the speech from the throne that we just tabled, quoted a famous poem by Robert Frost. Lots of politicians quote that poem. There's a famous ending to the poem that says, "Two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled, and it's made all the difference." We are on a new road in Saskatchewan. A road that we want to leave for those young people that will be in this gym tomorrow. On the new road in Saskatchewan, we don't simply point out the challenges that we face, we act on them. We don't just simply say, for instance, in healthcare that we've got a shortage of frontline workers. We go out and recruit those workers. We boldly set out with the goal to have 800 new nurses in the province of Saskatchewan in our first term of government. And in the new Saskatchewan, thanks to you, we reached that goal already, 1 year ahead of schedule. In the new Saskatchewan, we say we need to train more doctors here as part of the problem with respect to doctor shortages. We used to have 50 training seats at the college for a many great number of years while Manitoba was training 100. We in opposition said we should set a target of 100 seats and keep up with Manitoba. And then we should double the number of residencies in the province. Because if those doctors are doing their residencies here, we have a better chance to keep them in the province of Saskatchewan. And you know what? We are going to achieve those goals prior to our first term running out. That's what we do in the new Saskatchewan. We're not afraid to set goals. Bold as they are, because without them, how do you measure your success? How do you report back to the people whose province this is in the first place? On the new road in Saskatchewan, we don't just talk about education, property tax relief. There was a lot of talk about that for a lot of years. We deliver on education, property tax relief. The largest single in-year property tax reduction in the history of the province happened 2 years ago. That was just phase one. Those who are in farming in this room will know that in just a few months when the budget is tabled, we'll finish the job, we'll complete the promise, and we will provide meaningful and sustainable education property tax relief to the people of Saskatchewan while increasing education funding, increasing education capital dollars to schools like this. In the new Saskatchewan, we don't just tell mayors and reams that they should get a better revenue sharing deal. We act on it. And we deliver. Phase one happened in the last budget. Phase two will keep in this next budget upcoming. In the new Saskatchewan, we don't just talk about how, with all of these resources, we should be leading the country in economic growth. In the new Saskatchewan, we implement a growth agenda that's founded on lower taxes, the largest single in-year income tax reduction as well by your government, and fiscal probity, tax debt reduction, infrastructure investment, the innovation agenda you heard about tonight. We actually implement a growth agenda. We engage with the world with the New West Partnership, the other two Western provinces in that historic trade deal. We tell our story in Asia and around the world, this very amazing story of the province. And guess what? Saskatchewan leads. Saskatchewan leads not just in the West but in the country. Because in the new Saskatchewan, we've got that kind of a vision. In the new Saskatchewan, you won't hear any of us going around saying, well, don't worry, we're a half province now, but that could change because we might be in and out of equalization. That's what leadership used to say in this province, and that's a direct quote. Leadership now in the province is working hard to catch up to you, to reflect the fact that you believe that this province, endowed as it is, blessed by providence as it is, should lead the country. And many of us would have said that in speeches wrought in years previous and wondered, even as we said it. And many of you heard it. Maybe you were wondering the same thing. Really? Lead the country? Can we do that? Can we lead Alberta? The juggernaut that it is? Can we lead Ontario in gross domestic product? And you know what? You answered the question. In the new Saskatchewan, we've answered the question. The answer is yes. And the chartered banks economists are saying, here's what's going to happen next year. We're not going to be in the middle of the pack. We're not going to be number 3 or number 2. We're going to be number 1. Just a few months removed from the world's most severe recession. That's your new Saskatchewan. That's the new road we're on. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we should stay on that road. In the new Saskatchewan, the Rough Riders no longer say that 9-9 would be a winning season. They used to say that. I remember the general manager saying, why didn't we be 500 and maybe get a playoff game? We wouldn't accept that anymore. We would say your goal should be, there's only 9 teams. Your goal should be to win the championship every single year. And it's sort of a microcosm of what this new Saskatchewan means for so many people across our great province. And in the new Saskatchewan, we can at once say that we are open for investment. That we are open for investment from BHP, that it's welcomed in places like Jansen. That we're open for business from American-owned companies like Mosaic. That's welcomed across the province. That we're open for business from Canadian oil companies, American oil companies. But in the new Saskatchewan, we can also say that because we have 53% of the world's potash, a very strategic nutrient, something that China and India and the world needs, because we have a third of the world's uranium, because we have these things in such abundance, that maybe we're going to have to be a little bit strategic about that. That we will say yes to foreign investment, yes to takeovers, but maybe not to all of them. Maybe not if it's in the strategic interest of our province to say, no, respectfully, not this particular deal. And ladies and gentlemen, when we say that, we know that countries around the world that remain open, free trade, free market countries also say no. Don't let anybody tell you that, well, now we've sent a terrible signal to the world that we're closed for business in Canada and Saskatchewan. That, as Roger Phillips, the former CEO of the free enterprising cowboy that ran IPSCO for all those years, has said, is hogwash. Australia has done it. They're a free trading, open market country. They've said no to certain deals. And yes to many others. America has said no. Spain has said no. France has said no. Other countries around the world have said, we'll trade with you, but there may be certain things that are too strategic, and we may have to say no. Why wouldn't we have that same kind of vision for our resources, and for our people, and for our future? I want to tell you today that we're very grateful in our government for your support of a very difficult decision. We're very grateful today for the support of people like Premier Locke, Premier Roman, and Premier Devine. We're very grateful today for the support of Premier Stelmach, Premier Charest, Premier Selinger in Manitoba, for business leaders, for those who work in the mines, and people right across this country that said Saskatchewan at first was pretty lonely in their position, but we're there for that province. And first in that long line of support was all of you, included tonight. And I want to say on behalf of our caucus and our government to all of you for that support, thank you very, very much. That helps us to continue to hopefully make the right decisions on your behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I'm not going back on the old road. We're going to work very hard in our party to make sure that Saskatchewan stays on this new road. The highways are a little bit smoother, more work to be done. A little fewer potholes in the towns, the villages, the cities, and the new road. It's worth fighting for. It's worth staying on every now and then. Every now and then, some folks who come back from Alberta, one in particular, likes to reminisce about the old days. Let's call him Wayne. Good guy. It's fine. It's a fine guy. But he likes to reminisce a little too much about the old road, and every now and then he'll get in that 1978 AMC Pacer. And he'll join us on the new road and try to tell us it's time to go back. I think we're going to pick a candidate tonight that on behalf of the people of Melfort will say, no, it's time to keep moving forward on this new road.